Hello and welcome to another edition of our podcast honouring Black History Month. I'm Ishbel Davis, Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Officer, and today we are incredibly honoured to be joined by Mantack-Johnson, someone whose voice and work have made an impact as the Clinical Practice Educator Preceptorship Lead here at Ashford and St Peters. Mantack, thank you so much for being with us. We're excited to learn from you, hear your journey and share this space of reflection and celebration together. So to start us off, can you tell us a little bit about your cultural history?
All right. So first of all, thank you for having me. So my cultural history, I am Jamaican by background. For most of us know Jamaica to be a small island, Caribbean. We have big names. We have Usain Bolt. We have Bob Marley. But culturally, we're quite diverse. We are what you would call a melting pot of different cultures. We have a blend of European, we have Asian background within our culture. So we are basically a lot of different people coming together to make one. In fact, our motto, our country's motto is out of many one people, which signifies exactly who we are and what we are as Jamaicans. It's a melting pot of different cultures, but when we come together, we are one. We are Jamaican, one people.
That kind of brings into my next question, which is this year's theme is standing firm in power and pride. What does this mean to you?
So for me, it means many things. It means resilience. It means commitment. It means unwavering support of everybody. It means being very proud of who you are, what you have accomplished. It means paying homage to what was before and what is going to come after. But it also means to me that you are not static. You're not in one place. You are committed to the challenge of moving forward. So you're proud of where you are, but you're looking forward to what will come after. Standing firm in pride.
That standing firm in power and pride, and the way you've described looking, reflecting on the past and being in the present, your journey to your current role, what has that been like?
It has not been easy. There has been many challenges and absolutely many wins also. So my current role, I can't speak about where I am now unless I speak about where I'm coming from. So I qualified in 2006, registered nurse. I've done so many things. Qualified in the Caribbean, Jamaica. Been a nurse for over 19 years. I've been registered nurse. I've been midwife, I've been family nurse practitioner. That pathway pushed me to develop myself further. And I came to the UK in 2019. It was very difficult. I felt as if I had to be starting over. I've done so much already, but I felt as if I now had to go down at the bottom to start to climb all the way up. It was challenging, but I had to positively encourage myself. I had to positively redefine where I was and where I was expected to go, where I wanted to go. So when I continued my journey of development within the UK, I became a registered nurse again. I went on the wards, but I was key on my development. I had a background where I was very passionate about education. I lectured part-time back home. So as soon as I had an opportunity to develop in education again, I grabbed it. And I saw myself going from clinical practice facilitator. Within a year or a year and a half, I then became a clinical practice educator. I was at one point the lead for overseas nurses. Basically, I was there to support them while they made a transition from international educated nurses to nurse within the UK setting. So I did that for a while, and after that, then I progressed to become the preceptorship lead.
You mentioned around standing proud in regards to what you've done, what you've achieved, and not hiding or being quiet about what you've achieved. And in this time, you haven't mentioned the fact that you were invited to Buckingham Palace.
In 2023, internationally educated colleagues, nurses, HPs from all over, were invited to a reception at Buckingham Palace to celebrate with King Charles on his birthday. It was a massive event. We had people from all over the country. We had different ethnic backgrounds represented. Persons came in their traditional dress. It was beautiful. And it was quite impactful for me because the king could have chosen to spend his birthday anywhere with anyone, but he chose to spend it with internationally educated colleagues. And it was absolutely wonderful. My pictures are always, I'll always display it, I'll always talk about the occasion. It was beautiful.
You mentioned around how you felt like you were starting from the beginning, which I think is something that a lot of our internationally educated colleagues resonate with. That comment will resonate with them. And you probably, I imagine, when you were doing the role of support to our internationally educated colleagues, that was something that came up quite regularly. Throughout your NHS career, where have you felt that your racial or ethnic identity has influenced your experience, positively or negatively?
Yes, so I will definitely have to go back to the time I spent with my overseas nurses. It was very impactful for me because I saw myself as being that person who had similar experiences to them. You know, uprooting yourself from your home and coming into a new environment. So I felt it was my responsibility to sort of guide them through that process. And I really took it seriously. Always being there to offer words of encouragement, to let them know when it got so hard, it's going to get better. It's going to be hard for a while, but it will get better. And I think that because of my background of going through the similar channels as they were, I was able to be a positive influence to my overseas colleagues.
That's so lovely to hear. And you are a real inspiration for several people who work here at our organisation. But what figures, past or present, have inspired you to stand firm in your own power and pride?
No historical figure, but presently my children. So I have 3 kids, and I've always said that my children are at different stages of growth. I have a teenager who is almost an adult. He's 18. I have a 13-year-old who behaves as if she's 30. I have a 6-year-old. So I have a close to adult teenager, and I have a toddler. So it keeps me quite active. But they are the ones who inspire me to be my best and do my best at all times. You know, they encourage me to rise to be the best that I can be because they are my legacy. I will pass this baton on to them very, very soon. And I need to stand firm. I need to be proud of who I am because they're watching me, they're seeing me. And I just need to be that positive example for them. So they're the ones who push me, who challenge me daily to be the best that I can be.
Oh, that really makes me smile. It definitely sounds like your house might be a little busy at times, though. Probably very loud. You spoke about passing on that baton, which I assume would include things like how you celebrate your cultural identity. So how do you do that? How do you celebrate your cultural identity, both personally and professionally?
So personally for me, it's food. We're, Jamaicans, we're big on food. We're known for our jerk chicken. We're known for our oxtail or rice and peas. So it's difficult to get those products or ingredients where I am now, but I make an effort to go wherever it is to sort of live my Jamaican so within food, we regularly have jerk chicken, we regularly have oxtail, we have rice and peas every Sunday basically. It takes me back home. And my children who are now in this environment, who may not have had that identity, that history, it really takes them back. Personally, I always share my story. I'm always ready to talk about where I'm coming from. Talk about how my culture, how my country has shaped me to be the person I am today. So I will never hide the fact that I'm an immigrant. I'll never hide the fact that I'm a proud Jamaican. I will always let you know that.
Somewhat very much answered my next question to a degree there. Talking about those traditions that you already have with your children. Are there any other traditions, though, or values, stories that have been passed down through your family that you hold close and you also share with your children? So listen to you talk about, rice and peas on a Sunday, and the traditions that you've created with your children. Are there any other traditions, values or stories that have been passed down through your family that you yourself hold close and that you also share with your children?
So one story that has been passed down, I don't know how true it is. My mother, she's passed now, but she had a big personality. She was quiet but very bold. She was never afraid to stand and be seen and to have her voice heard. But as children growing up, it sometimes was almost embarrassing to us at times. But she always gave the excuse that she was a Maroon. She had Maroon ancestry. So Maroons in my country are, because Jamaica, it was a slave colony basically. So but we had runaway slaves who were fierce, slaves who would go into the mountains and create havoc on the plantation owners. So those type of slaves were called Maroons, freedom fighters basically. So she always said her great, I don't know how much great she'd go back, was a Maroon. And she'd always attribute her fierceness, her boldness, her ability to stand, because she was a descendant of a Maroon. So for me, I think I'm very bold, quiet but very bold. So my boldness, my ability to speak is based on my development, yes, but it's within my blood, and I hold on to that. I am a proud descendant of Maroon freedom fighters.
I have no doubt you'll be passing on those values to your children. Listening to you talk about, your experience here and also in Jamaica, I'm going to go off script a little bit, in the sense that I'm actually quite intrigued to know how different is nursing in Jamaica in comparison to here in the UK.
The difference, so the principles of nursing are universal, or at the basis of what we do is patient care. So there is not much difference there in terms of why we do what we do. Our patients are at the heart of what we do. It's the same in UK and Jamaica. But one of the things that I find, which I think sets the UK apart, is that accountability. I think there is far more accountability here than what we had back home. And within the UK, there's a procedure and a protocol for everything. Where I'm from, we don't have that much. Here, everything you want to do, subsistence protocol is a protocol for this, protocol for that, protocol for everything. But we don't have that, those set protocol, those standardized protocol back where I'm from. I mean, it may have improved now, because that was over 5 years ago. We are always changing, but that was my experience between then and now.
And reflecting on your experiences of nursing in Jamaica as well as in the UK, and the transition from Jamaica to here, what advice would you give to Black professionals just starting out in healthcare? 2
advice I would give: share your story. Don't be afraid to not speak about where you're from. Do not be afraid to hide how you have developed so far. Do not be afraid to say you have done this or you have done that, or you had reached a certain level of accomplishment from where you come. I think that our overseas colleagues tend to hide what they have done because they are not quite sure how it would fit into where they are now. So there's a lot of downplaying of what they have done, the accomplishments they have made. I've been in class, I've had persons within my OSCE room who were on their second masters. And it's only when you have a deep conversation with them, they will tell you, okay, I've done this in my country. I had a colleague who was voted one of the most influential persons in India. And it wasn't until I spoke to her weeks after, months after, she shared that with me. So there's this tendency to hide who you are, as if you have to put yourself in a nutshell. You can't be who you're supposed to be. So share your story. Don't be afraid to speak about who you are, what you have done. My second point is to choose your battles. I have been faced with so many potential battles since I've been in the UK. And I've had to approach them with a clear head. I have had to choose when to fight and when to stand down. There are battles that I know that I would absolutely win, but I have chosen to remain silent. And I have seen how that has benefited me in the long run. because not everything, while it's not peace at all cost, there are times when you have to know when to be silent, when to speak, when to stand, when to shout. And I get that at times we don't know when to do what and when not what to do. So I have learned, and I'm telling persons, choose your battles. Choose when to fight.
Both pieces of advice are amazing. And for me, the second one really resonates. I'm not always so great at choosing my battles. So, and I imagine there are many colleagues in the NHS who see things that they would like to see changed or are influenced by, and it's just not the right time. But eventually it'll be the right time. How can we best support our Black colleagues? And, not just during Black History Month, but all year round.
I'll definitely go back to it. Support your colleague by talking to your colleague, sharing your story. Tell your colleague about the challenges you've had. Share. Don't be afraid to share your journey. Don't be afraid to share your challenges. Don't be afraid to share your wins. And give your colleague the time and the space to share. And when they're sharing, be active, be present in listening. And after they have shared, if it warrants you standing or taking action, do it.
Being able to sit here with you today and listen to you and connect in this way that we haven't done before, and it's really such an honour. And finally, I'd really like to know, is there a book, a film, or a piece of music that you feel captures your experience or uplifts you?
So many, but not a book, not a film, not that music. Strange enough, being Jamaican, not music. But I attended a RCN conference probably about 2 to 3 years ago. And it was a RCN conference that spoke about advancing equality, diversion, inclusion within education. There was a keynote speaker. I don't remember her name. In fact, I don't remember even the content of what she spoke about. But there was a concept she introduced to me, and I will never, ever forget that concept. It was the concept of Ubuntu. I'm probably not even pronouncing it correctly, but it was, so Ubuntu is an African philosophy, basically. I have done so much reading about it, and I don't think I have even started to understand the depth of that word. But it basically says that I am nothing without you. It basically shows us that my humanity as a human is wrapped up in how we all relate to each other. It speaks about a connectiveness between people. I am who I am because of who you are. So it speaks about sharing our experiences, being there for each other, because my humanity is, I am a human because of who you are. So it's a concept that is big. It's massive, but I hold Ubuntu as much as I can. So because of that concept, it teaches me how to be compassionate. It tells me that we are connected. Doesn't matter how different we look, no matter how we speak, we are connected. We're all connected. Ubuntu.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Ken. It's been an absolute privilege to listen to your story and hear so much. And I hope our listeners have also enjoyed listening. And like me, will be doing a bit of research tonight on Ubuntu.